Hello guys, Tinman here, and welcome to my chapter review of One Piece chapter 1032, The Dear Sword of Odin. I'm glad that you could be with me today for my first video of my One Piece chapter reviews. And I would like to start off with the cover page, which is Yamato making a delivery to like an old lady up on a hill off in the middle of nowhere. She's like by herself and everything, with two little black cats. They're not like normal black cats like in our world, but like black cats like in like the One Piece world. They could walk bipedally and everything. They're like carrying giant sacks of probably food and other goods on their back, and it's actually a reference to the Yamato delivery transport service in Japan, which they actually use two black cats in their logo, and I can actually probably show that up on the screen right there, so you could see it. But yeah, that's the cover page for this week, and it's an okay one. It has Yamato on it and everything. But we start off the chapter with Marco is carrying Izo through the flames and everything through Kaido's mansion, and he's carrying Izo in his talons, and Marco says that he's injured and it's actually a pain to fly Izo around like he is. But Izo kind of just like throws it to the side, doesn't really acknowledge that part. He says that he's like more worried about the announcement of the giant yokai that's like going through and burning down the entire, mansion. But as they're like arguing back and forth about this, they fly by Big Mom, who's you don't really see Kid or Law, but they're probably there as well. And Izo points out that the castle is on fire, and Marco tells Izo not to get sidetracked about it. And that's the last we see of them for the whole chapter. So not really sure where they're going and what they could be doing, but they're probably going to go find Kinemon and the rest of the scabbards, probably. But then we cut to like it's like the stairway between the two floors. The samurai of the rebellion are actually blocking the only exit off the floor to the next floor, and one of the beast pirates actually comment that if they don't get through this blockade, they will actually all burn alive. So that's actually like one way that you could get rid of the opposition when you're that outnumbered in a rebellion, especially in a rebellion when you're it's all or nothing. They destroyed their ships when they got there. There's no going back. But then we cut to the next scene of the chapter where it's the in the second basement where we have Yamato, who's being chased by Apu, who's being chased by Drake, who's being chased by the number two Fuga. And Apu is chasing Yamato because he's trying to get Yamato to join his side, to listen to him, to listen to his proposition to join sides or whatever he's scheming. And Yamato just straight up tells him to stop bothering me, that I am busy. And X-Drake, who's right behind him, is just like, you need to learn when to quit. Like, stop, dude. So that's when that's when Fuga shows up, and Fuga is the number two, and it scares all the beast pirates. They're like, the number's here, get out of here, and they're all running away. And it also actually turns out that Yamato and Fuga are like friends or something, because Yamato states that it's been a while, but that he's in a hurry. But and then all of a sudden from the ceiling, Brooke and Robin actually fall down and they land in Fuga's hair, followed by the CP0. And right before the CP0 could like attack Brooke and Robin, because they were gonna like Brooke and Robin were getting ready to fight them, the Flame Yokai actually shows up and stops in the middle of it and stops the fight. It like cuts them off with like a wall of fire that the CP0 actually can't get through. And during all of that, like Apu actually notices the CP0 and actually starts taking pictures with the Din Din Mushi, and he wants to sell the information to Morrigans, and he's like the lapdog to the Celestial Dragon in Kaido's castle. Like, this could make me a lot of money that, like, I could retire probably. He can lay low and not have to deal with any of this anymore. So he asked them to, like, directly. So after losing your middleman, the government deals directly with, and then he's cut off by, like, the leader of the CP0 saying to keep your mouth shut. And he seems like he's pretty, like, adamant about this. So I'm sure Apu is pretty. I would be pretty scared, especially if it was the CP0 telling me that. But then, actually, the CP0 leader proceeds to attack Apu with probably, I'm sure, like Soru, like to fastly get over there to him and punches him right in the face and like knocks him cold. And Drake calls out for him, asking if he's okay, but there's no response. He's just laying there like, ugh. But then the leader of CP0 actually addresses Drake, saying that he knows who he is, basically, knowing that he's a spy working for Sword, and that he's not really a pirate, and all that. Drake asks him why the CP0 are even in Wano in the first place. Why are they even at Onigashima? Like Wano is not even affiliated with the world government. But the leader of CP0 proceeds to attack Drake, saying that they were handling pests or pest control, getting rid of the unwanted. But then, before he's actually able to make contact with Drake, once again he's hit with Apu's Dawn ability. His boom, where he hits his chest and it's an explosion, stopping him attacking Drake. So he was stopped from attacking Brook and Robin, and now he's being stopped from attacking X-Drake. It's like, man, why is this guy so easy to stop? But I think it's actually a ploy. They're not really going to be this, like, easy to take down, I don't think. There's no way. Not the leader of the CP0, the people that are right below the Gorosei. But Apu tells Drake that he survived due to armament hockey. I mean, armament hockey, what else would it have been? And that he knew that Drake was also a Marine spy. Then Drake proceeds to go into his Allosaurus form, his full Allosaurus form, and Apu and him team up to fight the CP0, and that's the last that we see of that. Then we cut over to, not the last scene, but the next scene of the chapter, where we got Zoro versus King, where King takes, like, the top of his head, and he, like, pulls it up like it's rubber, like Luffy's arm or his leg or whatever, and, like, pulls his beak in, and he pulls it in, and then he, like, shoots it off, and he calls it Tempura Udon, sorry. And he, like, shoots it like Luffy's gum pistol or rifle, and it just hits Zoro. And Zoro is unable to block it. He says it's like a beam, but he seems like he's okay, but Zoro took that medicine from Miyagi and the mink, saying that he was going to take a lot of pain later on once it starts to wear off. So I'm sure that it's starting to wear off now, especially after that attack. And King says this is how pterodons used to hunt their prey in the past, which we all know that's not how it worked in the real world, but Oda, being Oda, as amazing as he is, comes up with all these wacky ways for people to, or for these people, the dinosaurs to attack. Like with Queen, where he turned into like a snake, he shot himself out of his body like a cannon, he was like a brontosaurus snake. It's amazing. But right after that, Zoro uses his 360 caliber Phoenix and misses King with it. And then Zoro then proceeds to ask if the fire on his back was also an ability of the pterodons back in the prehistoric times. And King just flat out says, no. And Zoro immediately just does the face thing like, well, get your story straight then. So then Zoro says he has to get King out of the air before he runs out of energy, because well, once he runs out of energy, he'll pass out. He won't be able to fight. But also, he took that potion from the minks from Miyagi that when it wears off, he's just going to be in immense pain. He definitely won't be able to fight then unless he turns into some sort of nothing happened moment where he can somehow fight through that pain. Zoro would probably be the one person that could probably do that, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that one, especially how they were saying that once that wears off, he's gonna be in immense, 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 immense pain, and I'm sure that pain is several times more than what Luffy was taking at Thriller Bark. So then after that, he says he then fires off his great dragon twister at King, which King then he like blocks with his wings. He covers his body with his wings, probably using armament hockey. I would think that's. I was thinking probably the reason why he has black wings is because they're maybe like swords, maybe items can if you imbue them with hockey so much that you could actually they could take on the properties of hockey just like swords do to make a black blade. Maybe his wings also work like that. Maybe biological things could happen like that too. Like Luffy can maybe one day his hand could be like a black blade in his if he uses Red Hawk so much or something. Maybe not, but it was just a thought that I wanted to throw out there. But he blocks it with his wings, and King states he's on a higher level than lizards and dragons after Zoro says you're just nothing more than a lizard or a dragon, just a tough version of them. Then then rushes in with a sword, and they start the fight with swords instead of King staying up in the air. But Zoro states that he has barely done any damage to King after all the attacks that he's done. Uh, and Zoro starts to wonder, what race is he? Does he have giant's blood in him? Is he part of Fishman, or what is he? And he thinks that it is something a race that he's never encountered, he's never fought before, which we know that King is a Lunari. Uh, so obviously, Zoro has never fought a Lunarian before, so he would not know. But Zoro says he doesn't think he can win and is smacked to the ground by King and just left there like hurt. And he can't get up, he can't move, he's bleeding. And all of a sudden, Shamanson starts playing, and Enma starts to it reacts, and it sucks out all his hockey in his arm, makes his arm like a skeleton, like it did the first time he got Enma, and that's where it ends. That scene ends. And then we get to the final scene of the chapter, which is inside the treasure repository, where we see Orochi hiding out, taking his time, just hiding, waiting for everything to go down. And he also hears the shamisen, which is the three-string lute, that traditional lute used in that the Japanese people used to play and probably still play today. He claims that it's dumb that somebody would be playing one in the middle of battle, and he goes looking, and he peers through the sliding door, and he actually sees Komuasaki sitting there, also we know as Hiyori. And Orochi asks, "Is this a dream? Am I dreaming? Uh, is this a dream? Like, tell me you're real." And he tells Komurasaki that he wants to spend his life with her, for his entire life with her, and for them to be together. And Komurasaki agrees and says that she's wanted that too. And Orochi just starts crying, and he says that he wants to wake up if this is a dream, and that's where the chapter ends. So, where would we go from here? Like, why is Kurosaki there? I mean, not Kurosaki, but Hiyori there. Was she the one who saved the scabbards, where we thought it was Toki, where everybody thought that Toki went back in time, or forward in time, not forward in time, but, yeah, forward in time, sorry, and helped the scabbards recover from their fight with Kaido, and So it turns out that it might have been Hiyori this entire time. But what is Komurasaki going to do? Like, obviously, she doesn't think that this is true, that she wants to be with Orochi, because why would anybody want to be with Orochi, honestly? But is she going to try and assassinate him? Is she trying to, like, get on his side and then bring him to the Scabrons to be, for them to execute him? Or what? So I guess we'll find out next week. There's no break, and I appreciate if anybody watches this. This is my first chapter review that I've done, and I haven't done YouTube in a long time. And I used to do gaming WoW videos, and now I kind of want to get into anime and manga, especially One Piece, maybe My Hero Academia, and other things like that. So I appreciate it if anybody watches this, if you guys could come back in my next videos and see if I can improve, and leave in the comments how I can improve. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.